finally getting this process down.
You're good to go.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will call to order this April 20th, 2021 meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. Would all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a brief moment of silence. Angie, would you lead us in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we pause for a moment of silence, I would ask you keep Shenango Superintendent Mike Schreck and his family in your thoughts and prayers. For those of us who might not be aware, they were involved in a terrible car accident yesterday and had to be life flighted down to Pittsburgh. So I'd ask that you keep him in your thoughts. Thank you. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here.
Commissioner Boyd?
Here, we have quorum. I will note we are being live streamed. It's being sent out via our YouTube channel to the public for their consumption. Any member of the public who is not present today but wishes to submit public comment may still do so by submitting their comment to mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov. Please include the subject line public comment. We're offering that at least for the short term, just in the event that any individual member of our community is still uncomfortable coming into the courthouse during the pandemic. Row officer reports and comments. Looking around, the only representative I see here today from what I would consider to be a row office department would be Tracy with Domestic Relations. Tracy, do you have anything above and beyond what's already on the agenda?
No, sir.
All right. Public comments. As I mentioned, if anyone is watching and any of our free viewers wish to comment before the board who are hesitant coming into the courthouse, please just send a comment to mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov, and we will include the subject line public comment. We will certainly accommodate your request to have your comment being entered into the record. But is there anybody with us today, present in the audience, who wishes to submit public comment for the record? Seeing none, move on to fiscal and contractual. We have no advertising for bids or proposals, no receipt of bids or proposals, no fiscal reports, no report on quotes. We have two warrant registers, one from April 9, 2021, one from April 16, 2021. I'll give my colleagues a minute to check those over, and then I will take a motion to accept and file the warrant register. I will say it's certainly nice to see the our commissioners meeting room filling back up with people who are in person. It's been a long time coming, but we're certainly happy to have everybody here, even though the majority of you are department heads. But
It's okay.
Beautiful.
Their faces, it's people. I will make a motion to accept both of these warrant registers.
You're good in 1 second.
no, take your time.
Amy's making some sort of, I know things that she can do.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
You're a woman.
Up next, we have approval of the minutes from Tuesday, April 15th, 2021. Again, I'll give my colleagues a minute to look those over, take a motion to approve the minutes or make any necessary changes.
So moved.
Second, we have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Up next, we have no written communications for today. We do have one proclamation for ABATE of Pennsylvania. I'll read the proclamation and then I'll offer my colleagues the opportunity to comment if they so choose. Proclamation reads, I'm assuming this was sent to us by the state. Vanessa, is that accurate?
Actually, Dan.
Safety of all Pennsylvania motorists is an issue of enduring consequence, and whereas our county's licensed motorcyclists are required to keep their vehicles inspected and obey current laws relative to operator safety equipment, and whereas motorcyclists promote highway safety and encourage other vehicle operators to be cognizant of motorists, and whereas ABATE of Pennsylvania promotes, quote, Operation Save a Life, quote, Look Twice, Save a Life, and Daniel's Law, as motorcycles are everywhere. And whereas Lawrence County ABATE, which is the Alliance of Bikers Aimed Towards Education, will sponsor a proclamation run on May 1st, 2021, will arrive in front of the courthouse at 12 o'clock noon. And whereas during the month of May, Pennsylvania Motorcycle Safety Program Alliance of Bikers Aimed Towards Education of Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Motorcycle Dealers Association will continue their advocacy of motorcycle safety. Now therefore be resolved, Lawrence County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim the month of May 2021 as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month and extends its best wishes for the continued success of all motorcyclists to continue their efforts to promote safety and motorcycle awareness. I'll give my colleagues a minute to speak. Dan, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, as Vanessa indicated, the local ABATE group for many years has traditionally the first Saturday in May, and this year it happens to be the first, but they've always arrived here at the courthouse. We've presented the proclamation to them. Representative Sonata has attended most of those events as well. He brings a proclamation from the State House of Representatives. And as you might expect, the weather has a lot to do with the turnout. When the weather's nice like today, you get a lot of bikers in the parking lot. And if it's raining or dreary, obviously you don't get quite so many. So they're a nice group of people, and they focus on motorcycle safety. Last year, obviously, because of the COVID, they chose to forego their proclamation run. So like you said about getting more people here, it's nice to see them putting this back into effect. Thank you.
Absolutely. Loretta?
I participated in the 2019 Saturday service that they had.
With a bike?
No.
Yeah.
It's not, but I am a passenger frequently.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So I am, and even someone as cautious as other motorcyclists are when you're in a passenger vehicle, that you sometimes can lose sight of the bikes. So I definitely, I just have a huge concern, and definitely we need the awareness that it needs to continue, that everyone is aware that there needs to be a motorcycle safety and be aware of the bikes on the road. So I will, unless there's some sort of reason that I'm not able to be there, I will be there on May 1st as well, definitely. Yes.
All right, I will take a motion to proclaim the month of May 2021 as Motorcycle Safety and Awareness Month in Lawrence County.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Staff reports. Is there any member of staff here that has anything to report above and beyond what's already on the agenda? Seeing none. Commissioner reports and comments. I'm on deck first today. I have nothing. Dan?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'm like you, nothing to report. It's all falls to Loretta.
And
Carry the team as always.
That's right.
well, not much to report other than the sun shining today. We are expecting snow tomorrow. So, continuing with Western Pennsylvania weather. That's just, continue to wear your masks, keep safe, and if you have an opportunity and choose to want to get the vaccine, they are available throughout Lawrence County. Just pick up the phone and call neighborhood pharmacy, UPMC. I think they're readily available. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I apologize. I did remember one thing, just to note.
Still my thunder. You do that all the time, Dan.
I want to just note, if you notice the flags at half-mast, that's due to the passing of former Vice President Mondale. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the new business portion of the agenda. New resolutions. First on deck today, we have Vanessa Lovely from LCSS. We did this last year, I believe, as well. resolution for discussion and possible approval for the senior citizen nutritional shopping program through LCSS. Vanessa, if you'd be so kind as to come up. When anybody comes up to speak before the board, I would ask they speak into the microphone just so we pick it up for incorporation into the minutes. But good to have you with us today. How are you doing? Yeah, that's fine.
Very well. Thanks for having me this morning.
Absolutely. What do we have going on?
So every year, or for the last about 10 years, we approach Lawrence County Community Action Partnership approaches the county and asks for your gracious consideration of our senior nutritional shopping program. And what this program is, it's you all have been so generous to subsidize the ACTS bus trips for Lawrence County residents age 65 or older who are traveling to a grocery store or farmer's market within Lawrence County. The folks, they ride for $1 per trip. So with this further subsidy, instead of them paying maybe $2.50 or $3 per trip, going for $1, they can go more frequently. We've talked in the past, it's a social situation at times. So we're asking for continuation of that program through 2021. Now, when I was here in early 2020, we had asked for just shy of $4,600. Well, due to COVID, that pot of money lasted longer than expected. It lasted through the end of March with a few dollars for April. So I'm asking today, or we're asking today for your consideration in the amount of $3,284 to continue this program through 2021. We expect to serve about 125 unduplicated people at about 1,700 trips. And that $3,284 actually allows the Pennsylvania State Lottery Senior Program to pay a little over $27,000 towards trips, and the consumer with the dollar would pay about $1,700. So.
Okay, so in other words, what we're doing here today is basically allotting dollars at a cost of $2 per trip, local contribution, to help cover the costs associated with getting some of our at-risk seniors some food. Okay. Well, I have really no questions or comments here. I think it's a good program, and you guys do a fine job at administering the program. While I have you with us today, you're also the chief person for the Teams program. Is that correct? How's that? Just as a brief update, how's that program going? Because I know the county's contributed significantly to it.
Absolutely, yes, and thank you very much for that through the CDBG
Yes.
programming. The team program is still going very well. Right now we have about 420 active people we're delivering food to weekly. So there's still quite a few people who aren't comfortable leaving their home. So, the program for today, the senior nutritional shopping, some of them are, but many are not. But that program's going very well. We're still enrolling people. So we're doing about 420 deliveries per week to different families. And, it continues to be a great program. We're partnering with Greater Pittsburgh Food Bank and USDA and Challenges Options. I think there's tons and tons of local partners, and it's something that we're very proud of. I'm very proud of to be part of.
Now,
Thank you.
is that, help me out, is Teams, is it just for senior citizens, or is it just any at-risk family who might be experiencing food insecurity?
It's over 65, so 65 years of age or older, or someone who would be under 65 years of age but would have any type of disability. It can be a physical, functional, mental, you name it. And the screening is very, very simple and straightforward. It's really self-disclosed. So it's very easy for people to access this program should they need it.
Okay, thank you.
Very welcome.
I'll turn it over to my colleagues if they have any questions. Loretta, we'll start with you this time.
Thank you. I just have to say thank you so much for the Teams program. And I know we've sent a couple of emails back and forth. Again, the COVID vaccines, we've been talking about those that are shut in, that maybe we could take those shots on the road. And, I'll get maybe another email out to you. Just thinking off the top of my head, I think the biggest problem would be that 15-minute wait time period that someone would have to be there with that senior person to make sure there wasn't a reaction. That being said, it just turns me, segues right into the ACTS program. If you've not ever been to that hub, to that network where they are dispatching those vans and the buses from, it's absolutely amazing. I did that several years ago, and I don't know what we thought or how I thought they were dispatching, but to see the huge systems and the roadmaps and everything that's out there, you truly have to go there to get a sense of just how the dispatchers, how they're trying to coordinate those rides, knowing that they're seniors and okay, maybe we're thinking 15 minutes for this pickup, but that person is a little bit extra slow getting out and they're a little bit late getting from the doctor's office. Just absolutely amazing that function happens as well as it does. And I have to give a little personal shout out to a public thanks to Chris Emery for taking care of the situation for me as graciously as he did. So this couldn't have come at a better time because I didn't get an opportunity to call him back. But you deal with teams and with the ACTS, the clientele that you have are truly, they're at risk and they need a lot of that extra compassion and that help and it comes through with the operation. So thank you very much.
And I'll be sure to pass along that information to the staff. So thank you, Chris.
Dan? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, once again, you said we've been hearing from you every year for 8 to 10 years, and I'm very happy to once again support this request for the 3284. My recollection is that those particular dollars do come from the county's general fund. The team's dollars, as Commissioner Boyd noted, are CDBG dollars, special CDBG dollars that were COVID related that did come to us through the federal government. But as was stated by the other two commissioners, you folks have done a great job administering both programs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. We'll make this resolution 2021-079.
079.
All right, thank you. If you want to stick around and vote, you're welcome to do so. If you have to take off to attend to other matters, we understand that as well. But I would assume, just based on my colleagues' comments, that you'll have no trouble getting this through.
Thank you all very, very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Up next, we have Amy McKinney with our planning department for resolution discussion, possible approval to convey and transfer 816 Lathrop Street to Brian and Tracy Cobb through the side yard program. Amy, how you doing today?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, thanks. What do we have going on?
So let's just step back. The land bank, which was land bank, which now is under the redevelopment authority, has a side lot program. And those properties are typically properties that are in the repository where a person that lives in and owns the property beside that vacant piece of property that's in the repository can purchase that property for $150. Every once in a while, we'll find a property that's not in the repository, but it's county owned. And this goes back to, I think, the 1940s, I think, Dan, is that more, I think that's when 1940 something happened and all these properties, a handful of them,
Yes.
are now owned by the county. So they're not in the repository where the county's a trustee, the county actually owns them. And this is the case of this one. So the deed cannot be between the redevelopment authority and the property owner. The deed needs to be between the county and the person who wants to purchase the property, which in this case is Mr. or Mrs. Cobb. They submitted their application to us, they paid their fee, they went through our normal approval process where assessment went and checked to make sure they had no foreclosures, no liens on their property, no back taxes. They're all in good standing. We just need to have the deed approved by the county commissioners.
Sure. And just to flesh out the history a little bit more, back in the 1930s and 1940s, individuals and households and businesses which did not pay their taxes, instead of going into what we now know as the repository, the county took direct ownership. And Dan, if I'm saying anything wrong, please correct me.
You're right.
The county took direct ownership over those properties. After that period in time, law was passed, which created what we now refer to as the county repository, where the county now serves as the trustee for those properties, but in no way, shape, or form holds any liability or responsibility to maintain those properties based on state law. And so we still have a number of old properties. I guess every property is the equal amount of old. But we have a number of properties still under that 1930s, 1940s system that, you know, where possible, I think all three of us are certainly amenable as to getting those properties back on the tax rolls to citizens that might want them. And so it's another one of those properties off the list. I certainly have no objections from my end, and I'm glad that the Cobbs will be able to gain
Yes.
a side lot at their household.
Yeah.
Turn
Yeah,
it-
it's funny, we find them here and there. It's like,
Right.
oh, yeah, that's the county owned. And we actually have we had 4 in Taylor Township recently that last year you guys approved and turned over to the property owners in Taylor Township. So yeah, we find them here and there. So we're glad you guys are willing to, like you said, get back on the tax roll.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
In fact, I understand the individual who's purchasing it was almost excited to learn that it was not officially transferred over because he didn't have to pay taxes on it for a year after.
Yeah, and he came in because he wasn't getting his tax bill on this property.
Which kudos to him for that.
Absolutely,
So when we
sure.
found out what happened, again, I told Loretta, I said, I'm not sure how much longer we can keep doing this, but we'll blame the COVID on it. Because, you know, he came in and then it just got lost in the shuffle with the courthouse being shut down
Right.
and we had our change in solicitor. So he was very, very nice.
He was,
He's like, well, you
yes.
don't have to pay tax. I'm like, no, you don't own it, so you're good to go. So I said, we'll get it taken care of for you right away
Nice.
because he did, you know, follow through with
Yes.
everything and he was eligible for it, so.
Great.
That's good.
Questions, comments from my colleagues? Dan, do you have anything?
No,
Something very brief, just a minor technical amendment I'd like to add, since it's not noted in the resolution. Could we put, perhaps following Lathrop Street, in parentheses, City of Newcastle, so that we identify the municipality in which this property is located? I trust you folks wouldn't object to that.
I have no issue with that.
Vanessa, are you gonna
Thank
make that
you.
change?
I can, I'll email it to you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Absolutely. Anything further?
No, thank you, that's all, thank you.
Absolutely, Loretta?
I'm good.
All right, we'll make this, unless there's any objections, resolution 2021-80.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amy.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Amy.
Up next, we have a couple of resolutions from our recycling department. We have Jerry Zoni here with us today. Jerry, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you guys?
Doing good. Good to see you. First on deck, we have resolution for discussion and possible approval for Act 101, Section 903 grant application for reimbursement of salary and eligible expenses for 2020. What do we have going on?
This is an annual grant program, and what it does is it reimburses the county for 50% of salary, benefits, travel expenses, subscriptions, and the like that the county incurs with the result of my position.
Very straightforward. This is something,
Simple enough.
This is exactly what it is.
this is something we get every year, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And do we know roughly what that amount is?
Anywhere from 35 to 38,000, depending on the travel expenses.
Sure.
That's kind of it.
Well, I'm certainly not going to object to free money. But I'll turn it over to my colleagues for any questions, comments they might have on this resolution. Loretta?
Just glad to have you, here on board, doing the job that you do.
Thank
you. Many different hats you wear. Yes, so thank you for wearing those hats.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
And Dan?
I'm all for it, thank you.
All right. We'll make that resolution 2021-81. And then up next, we have resolution discussion, possible approval to enter into an agreement with the City of Newcastle for the loan of cameras and surveillance equipment with regards to address illegal dumping and scattering rubbish within the city. What do we have going on here?
So this is similar to a program we did with the city in 2019. Obviously with COVID last year, we really didn't do much in 2020. So the way that this will work is the resolution and agreement will be needed because we're going to loan the cameras directly to the city without camera involvement. So we're going to give them a camera or two, set of rechargeable batteries and a charger in the cases so that they can use it on their own.
Okay. And this, we're providing this free of charge, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And this is something we do for any municipality, who might have an issue with illegal dumping, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Our normal process, depending if the municipality wants to partner with the county or not, so for example, I'll throw Taylor Township out there. They approached us about a troublesome road that they had. So since the camera was maintained and operated by the county, we worked in partnership, we didn't need the agreement. So in this particular situation, we're giving the equipment directly to the city.
Mhm.
And so that way if it gets stolen, it's on them. You know, if they get evidence, we expect them to enforce the ordinance for that.
The other thing I want to bring up before I turn it over to my colleagues for any questions they might have, we talked, I don't know, a couple days ago last week, and we've started, or maybe continued enforcing illegal dumping ordinances across the county. You just had success in 2 or 3 cases, right?
That is correct. You know, we've been enforcing the county's rules and regulations for quite some time, and we've cited many people for dumping at the blue bins over the years. For Taylor Township out there, that's what I actually was talking to you about. English Hollow Road has been a troublesome road for many, many years. And we had 2 successful cases. Our compliance officer, John Polis, filed citations against 2 individuals. Both were guilty in abstention. One was for $600, the other was for $300 for dumping trash on English Hollow. And as part of our partnership, John was actually able to get the township to agree to block off access to the lower part of the road, which is where all the dumping occurs. And that's something we've talked to the township many times, probably over the course of the past 10, 15 years, and finally got done and should address the problem. So sometime in the future, we're gonna go back and work with some different groups to get it cleaned up so that the trash is just out there.
I was very glad to hear that whenever you brought that to my attention. You know, illegal dumping is most definitely a problem in Lawrence County. And, you know, I know all 3 of us are happy the county government's able to play a role in solving that problem. And that's largely because of the work that you and your colleagues do. So thank you.
We appreciate your support of the program as well, and we're able to actually do it, so thank you.
But I'll turn it over to my colleagues for any questions or comments they might have. Dan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I can verify that English Hollow Road has been blocked off. I was on 168 just within the last week and happened to notice that you can't go up English Hollow Road. Not that you'd want to. That's a pretty tough road to get up that hill. Secondly, to follow up on Commissioner Boyd's comment or question regarding other municipalities that might have an interest in doing what we're going to do with the city. Just for sake of assumption, what would happen if 10 of our municipalities approached you and said, we want to do what you've done with the city? Do we have the wherewithal to assist at least 10 or 15 municipalities if they ask us?
Good question. Over the course of time, yes. Immediately, no. We have, I think, 7 to 9 cameras that are in operation right now. So we loan them out on a first come, first served basis. So for example, there are a couple cameras that we hold specifically so that we can monitor our blue bin sites with. Those are not going anywhere. And the other cameras, it just depends on where the municipalities want them.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Loretta?
Got nothing, thank you.
All right, we'll make that resolution unless there's any objection, 2021-82. I don't foresee any issue with these passing with unanimous approval. So to that end, if you've got other matters you need to attend to, you're welcome to take off or you're welcome to stay. Because I know, government meetings are very enthralling.
I gotta go sling some tires, so I gotta
Okay.
change and get ready for some dirty work.
No, I mean, I also want to know before you take off, just to give you credit, Kenny Rice and some of the other individuals on the west side for the cleanup that you conducted. And I believe you were wearing your Tri-County Cleanways hat.
I wore the county hat that day because I had to drive the county trucks.
Fair.
Juggling the hats.
Yes.
And Kenny and the groups that were involved in that cleanup deserve a huge round of applause because they're 89 volunteers.
Wow.
At least that's how many sign-in sheets that I have. Just over 3 tons of trash and about 170 tires. So that's actually, we got to go load the tires on the roll-off now because paperwork we had to file with DEP for this. So.
Yeah, well, that was a great cleanup, and thank you for being one of the people who spearheaded that.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes.
and thank you for your guys'
Absolutely.
support. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Jerry.
Okay.
Up next with domestic relations, We have Tracy for resolution for discussion possible approval and enter an agreement with DSSC Solutions Company for the F114 fax machine. Tracy, I have a feeling this is pretty straightforward. But first of all, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Good. What do we have going on?
It's not as glamorous as everybody else's. This is a maintenance contract for our fax machine.
This is what it is. There's
Somehow
nothing else there.
I don't think that's gonna be a headline.
No.
There's not so much glam that comes
Yeah.
across the screen.
It is what it is. All right. I'm just gonna say, unless there's any objection, we're gonna make this resolution 2021-83. I mean, that is what it is. Any objection?
No objection.
I'm glad to hear it.
We don't even need an explanation other than it's a fax machine.
It's a fax machine.
You're welcome to stick around for the vote on your fax machine, or if you're gonna take off, feel free.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
Tracy, you're hard to follow.
Oh, gosh.
Up next, we have Director Bout with Children and Youth Services for resolution discussion, possible approval and enter agreement with Avanco International. John, how you doing today?
I'm good, Commissioner. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. What do we have going on?
This is a renewal for our CAP system, Child Accounting and Profile System. It's our case management instrument for all of our cases. The cost is $28,315.17 with maintenance costs and the upgrade to version 17. The total is $34,985.10. Of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania, 57 use them, and the total percentage to the county is 40%. So of that larger number, the breakdown becomes $13,994.04. And that number is, again, equaled and calculated amongst the 57 counties that use CAPS.
And this is effectively our management software for every child that we have under CYS custody. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And how many children right now currently are under CYS custody?
173 are in care. Over 200 are in our custody, and we have approximately 1,600 to 1,800 referrals a year, depending on the year. So all of those referrals get logged into the system, and that's how we track it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, does the state negotiate these rates for us, or is this done at the county level?
This is done through PCYA. There's a committee that is made up of members from different counties, and they negotiate with Avanco.
Fair enough. I really don't have any more questions on that one. At the end of the day, it's CRM software. So we'll
It's not a fax machine.
yeah.
I didn't even know they still made them.
Questions, comments from my colleagues? Dan, anything?
No, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Thank you, Commissioner.
Loretta?
Thank you. Nope, nothing.
Easy.
There you go.
All right, we'll make that resolution 2021-84, and you're welcome to take off, stick around, whatever you want to
All right, thank you. Have a good day, everyone.
know. You too. Up next, we have resolution for discussion, possible approval, enter into a memorandum of understanding with our laborers 964 union. This is related to a contractual amendment that needs to take place relating to certain personnel shifts up in the courts. Questions, comments from my colleagues? Start with Loretta.
No.
Dan?
Now, my understanding is that the proposal has been reviewed by our legal counsel, and everything appears to be in order.
Yep.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I will make that resolution 2021-85. Up next, a budget amendment for our 911 center. This is, you receive capital improvements funding through PEMA. So this is basically related to that. We're receiving more funding than was anticipated, which in turn is passed through and used for ICRS maintenance and ESIN net maintenance. Any questions, comments on that, Dan?
No, thank you.
No.
Loretta?
Mm-mm.
All right, we'll make that resolution 2021-86.
Always a good thing when we get unanticipated revenue.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then the last one on deck today is I finished up the first quarter budget reviews with all of our different department heads. So these are just adjustments that need to be made based on where we're at in the budget compared to where we should be at for quarter one. Biggest thing here was I very simply, I underestimated the cost for our phone systems. And other than that, we've had some postage costs go up. And there were a couple other unanticipated work carryover expenses that need to be accounted for. But what this does effectively is I have a budgetary philosophy, which is if you do this now, you know where you're at. If you wait until the end of the year to do them all at one time, that might put more of a strain on the budget. So this is effectively right-sizing the budget in a manner that we know exactly where we stand from a fiscal perspective. Questions, comments? Loretta?
Nope, nothing here.
Dan?
No, sir, thank you for your efforts.
Absolutely.
Make that resolution 2021-87. And now we just have a couple of administrative transfers that come in miscellaneous, infrequently throughout the week. First and foremost, controller contingency to travel and training for $375. They have an online membership where they're able to get their CPEs. That'll cover that cost. From DJ Nicholson, contingency to subscriptions. Rationale leads, subscription account was reduced drastically in this year's budget. Yes, it was. I can confirm that. We have eliminated some of the items in this item, however. The attached explains the need, and I'm not seeing the attached, but I have no issue passing it through because they have that money in their contingency. That being said, across the board in magisterial districts, we do need to review the subscription costs incurred by those magistrates, just because some have a lot more subscriptions than others, which in my view, just from a base level budgetary perspective, may be unnecessary. But I have no issue with this game because it's in their contingency account. Then last up, we have assessor transferring $100 from contingency to association dues. Rationale being they need money, additional money for dues, which were not accounted for in the budget because that individual at the time was not a member of the specific trade association, which now she is and thus required to pay dues for it. So questions, comments on either of those or three of those administrative transfers? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to approve administrative transfers A through C.
So moved.
Second.
We have motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. I'll take a motion to amend the agenda to allow for voting on resolutions 2021-79 through 2021-87.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. First on deck today, I'll go through these as expeditiously as humanly possible. Resolution 2021-79, now therefore be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners. The County of Lawrence has authorized payment to Lawrence County Social Services in the amount of $3,284 as part of the required local co-payment for the Senior Citizen Nutritional Shopping Program. Lawrence County Social Services will administer these funds and utilize and provide the balance of 15% co-payment required for eligible senior citizens who receive services through the Senior Citizen Nutritional Shopping Program. Eligible consumers will be required to pay $1 worth of required co-payment for each trip. Allied Coordinated Transportation Services will invoice the 85% balance of each senior citizen nutritional shopping trip to the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-080, now that be resolved by the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, shall convey and transfer the above mentioned properties to Brian and Tracy Cobb. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second with, again, verification that we're gonna add City of Newcastle.
Yes, that was taken into account when you mentioned it.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I'll second the motion.
All right, we have motion second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-081, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, the Act 101, Section 903 grant application for reimbursement of salary and eligible expenses for 2020 for the county recycling coordinator be submitted to Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Another resolution 2021-082. Now that be resolved, the county entered an agreement with the city of Newcastle for a loan of city cameras and equipment. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-083, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, the DSSC Solutions Company will provide a maintenance agreement for Lawrence County Domestic Relations Department's fax machine. Cost will not exceed $411 for 1 year time period, 5/2/2021 through 5/1/2022. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion to second. Debbie, I'm expecting this one will be the front page article tomorrow.
Headline.
Make sure that the public knows how much money we're spending on fax machines. Any further discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-084, now that be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, the purchase service agreement of the provider of Banco International shall be in effect for the period of July 1, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. Costs are only incurred if the provider of service being used by Lawrence County per the agreement authorization is hereby given to execute an agreement with following service provider of Banco International Incorporated, located in Clifton, Virginia. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. A motion is second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-085, now therefore resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners, Lawrence County Commissioners authorize the county to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Laborers Local 964 regarding the PFA Administrator Legal Liaison position via the attached MOA, and the Chairman of the Board is authorized to execute all appropriate documentation. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Resolution 2021-86, now that resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows: increasing revenue 911 state interconnect payment account by $75,939.49, increasing the expense 911 ICORRS annual maintenance account by $67,349.89, and increasing the expense 911 Region 13 ESINET maintenance account by $8,589.60. Reason being FEMA 15% interconnectivity funding, Icarus annual maintenance, and Region 13 ESI net maintenance. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Finally, Resolution 2021-087, now to be resolved by Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to amend the 2021 Lawrence County budget as follows. And you can see the attached spreadsheet for a list of all of the different Portal 1 amendments that we need to make. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. Question on the motion. Vanessa, please call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. No ordinance on the table for introduction or final action. Announcements, next regularly scheduled commissioners meeting will be at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, April 27th, in the commissioners meeting room. Anything further?
Prison board. Prison board tomorrow at noon.
Dan?
Thank you. No, thank you.
Public comments, any member of the public sitting out in the audience today, or we'll go with the audience first, wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, any member who might be watching, virtually, you can submit public comment at mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov. That's mboyd@lawrencecountypa.gov, and please include the subject line, public comment, so I know that it is indeed public comment and not just a general purpose question. Any additional business to be brought to the board's attention from either of my colleagues?
No.
All right, hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Motion second, is there any discussion? Hearing none, question on the motion, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign, motion carries. Lawrence County Board of Commissioners adjourned.
All yours, Debbie. How are you today?
How are you?
Not too bad.